Okay, so part two of Let's Chat, the topic today. The recent media changes. I know that Facebook young audiences, the changes have been rolled out. So, what changed in Facebook lately? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I guess in terms of the young audiences, there's a lot of things that change at Facebook on an ongoing basis. But when it comes to specifically young audiences, Facebook has been, I guess, in the firing line across many different topics, recently. And one of those topics has been how they I guess safeguard, or how they put safeguards around their younger users. There were, I guess, a range of inquiries, independent inquiries into how Facebook maintains that and how Facebook prevents, improper, advertising towards young audiences. And those inquiries found that it was actually possible and quite easy to target young audiences. And by young audiences, we basically talk about the under 18s. And it was possible to target them using interest targeting like gambling, like extreme weight loss, like smoking. So pretty specific interest targeting that you would not necessarily want to be able to use to target these sort of young audiences. And also that there were a range of leading alcohol companies that were meant to put in place safeguards so that advertising was not done for alcohol product towards those young audiences, and were failing to do so. So I guess as a response to that, and probably to try to how do you say that, to try to put water on the fire, so to speak. Facebook started introducing a couple of changes to I guess try to
Safeguard it
a bit and avoid negative advertising to go towards those young people. And so what they've done is they've stripped all detailed targeting from advertisers' control. So now if we want to target under 18s in Facebook, we can, and Facebook means also includes Instagram and Messenger, so all their portfolio of apps and placements. The only options we have as advertisers is to target based on age, gender, and location. Any other targeting, which typically we rely on as advertisers, so being sort of interest targeting, more detailed demographics like language and so on, and also all the custom audiences, so customer match audiences when taking an audience from, let's say, your customer list and trying to match that in the platform, or creating a lookalike out of that, or retargeting, remarketing. All of this is out of bounds now. We cannot implement that sort of targeting for younger audiences. And obviously, yeah, that's the big change that has been thrown, our way by Facebook, which makes sense. It's probably quite a good thing.
Yeah.
But requires us to sort of rethink things a bit from a
Definitely.
strategy and implementation perspective.
And especially as an agency who specializes on international education and student recruitment, that's a massive impact. That's a big impact. And would you say so? And what impact have you seen? How do you strategize differently, or is there anything that you kind of mitigate to keep up with the change?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a huge impact for us. Some brands might not really, be too worried about it, because the younger audiences, the under 18s, are not really a key audience for them. But our clients, as you said, are education providers. The undergrad market is a key market for them, and obviously there are levers to activate that audience, to engage that audience through, let's say, parents and other sort of other sources, ways. But targeting that audience directly is still paramount for them. And it has a big impact. How do we go about it? I mean, there's no real way of fooling the system and trying to find a way to target them. We have to work with what Facebook allows us to do. So I guess it's a more direct approach now. We know we cannot rely on retargeting, remarketing. We cannot really, try to engage them and re-engage them and nurture them through their consideration, process. So we have to go directly to them, present. I think creative is key here. We have to present a compelling creative that will sort of tell the full story and pre-qualify them in a sense, right? We cannot afford to be too broad that people and those young people are going to click through and engage and potentially not being really the right audience for us. So the creative needs to speak to the audience, needs to engage them, but also sort of pre-qualify them so that we only engage the right audience, the right prospective undergrads. And I think something to keep in mind too is Facebook is not the only option, right? So there are other options to look into, and that's something that from a strategic point of view, depending on what our clients really need, we have to consider. Facebook is still only one of the options available. It's a key option, obviously. It's one that we've been relying a lot on because it delivers great results, and we know the young audiences are still on the platform, although there's a bit of a shift towards other platforms, but they're still there and they're still active, and it's obviously a platform you cannot really do without, for now at least.
So does that mean it's the death of Facebook to advertise for a younger audience?
I don't think so. I mean, it is a change in how we integrate that channel as part of our media mix when targeting undergrad students or young audiences in general. But there's still a place for Facebook to when it comes to targeting that cohort. And one thing to keep in mind too is, as much as advertisers don't have the controls that they used to in terms of being able to target that audience, the data still sits with Facebook. They didn't delete all the historic data that they have about those users, right? They didn't sort of and they'll still keep collecting all that data, right? If someone who's 14 years old is engaging with this page, with this content, with this, they have that data, and we know the strength of the Facebook algorithm in using that first-party data that they hold in serving the right content for that person. So we can expect that there will still be, a level of targeting that happens just behind the scenes. It's not something that us as advertisers, as marketers, will have control over, but we can expect that Facebook will sort of make it work as part of their, sort of magic sauce, if you want, right?
Secret sauce.
The secret sauce. And that's where I think having the right creatives that really, pre-qualify the audience will be key, because Facebook will look at all the signals to identify whether, that's the right creative to show, the right ad to show for that audience, and audiences that are similar to those, that have similar traits. So as much signals as we can give the Facebook algorithm, the better our campaign will be. The more effective it will be.
Okay. And you mentioned other channels to consider.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those?
Well, I mean, we've seen some new major players, I guess, in the space of the younger audiences, and TikTok is one of them. It's been increasing in popularity throughout the COVID period, I guess. That's one of the major new players to consider, I think. Snapchat is another one that is gaining traction. It's not new, but it's really it's having a little bit of a revival. And then Twitter is another one. There's a range of other channels that exist that allow targeting under 18s. I should say that there's a lot that don't allow that, right? So if you look at Google, for one, which is still one of the major channel for us, you can't actively target under 18s in Google. We never really have been able to, which is why Facebook still play a part, right? There aren't that many channels that allow us to target under 18s. But apart from Facebook, there are those new players: TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, and they might not be necessarily as effective as Facebook has been historically, in especially for specific sort of campaign objectives. But there's definitely a place to try them, to invest in them, to potentially spread the market, the media mix a bit, to try new avenues and see what performs. And we've been utilizing TikTok, for example, as a channel more than we have in the past, at the back of Facebook introducing that change. And it's, I think, something that marketers will do more and more as time goes by. And as we see that, I guess the market share of Facebook across that young audience is dropping, and it's one of the big concerns for Facebook as a company, and something that they're trying to remedy. But the question will be, will Facebook be the platform for the future, for that, young audience? Lots of questions about that at the moment. So definitely, it's time to invest and investigate other options, in my opinion.
Excellent. Thank you for your insights.
No worries at all. My pleasure.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon in part 3, where we'll cover the future of media landscape. I'll see you soon.